Coming from CNBC, Meta jumps into AI coding market in effort to chase Anthropic, OpenAI, and basically everybody else in the technology world. So I am going to say the unpopular opinion right now. I really think it's time for Mark Zuckerberg to try to stroopwafel one of his interns. Cause I'm thinking, and I'm just gonna put this on the table right now, is I think a sexual harassment lawsuit would cost Meta as a corporation a hell of a lot less money than whatever the hell the continuation of this midlife crisis is. I'm just saying. Mark Zuckerberg goes out there, does something with an intern, Meta gets sued, puts $100 million on the table, and away they go. He can get back to running a communications and advertising company, right? Because let me tell you right now, if he does not settle this midlife crisis, we have no idea how many hundreds of billions of dollars he's just gonna keep flushing down the toilet. So I've been talking about this story for way too long at this point in time. Basically, discussing the whole issue where Mark Zuckerberg really doesn't know what he wants to do when he grows up. Right? He is the CEO of Meta. He has super majority voting rights as a shareholder. So basically, nobody can outvote him. He can essentially do whatever the hell he wants. The problem is he has become bored. Now, to be clear, there is nothing wrong with that. He has been running Facebook for 25, getting close to 30 years at this point. It makes sense that he's getting bored with this thing that he's created, and this is the time that he should move along, right? He should step down as CEO, he should hand the reins over to somebody else, and then with his gazillions of his own dollars, he can go out there and start investing in companies that he's actually interested in. The problem is, though, he really likes being CEO with one of the most valuable companies in the world. He really likes the fact that nobody can outvote him. And so he's just sticking around at Meta, and he's forcing the Meta shareholders to fund every idiotic idea he has. Right? We've talked about this. It gets so absurd that he was going to be trying to buy Kalshi, right? The that whole betting site or whatever else. They're now going to build their own betting site called Arena. They're building humanoid robot. Why is Meta building humanoid robot? Like, see, what does that have to do with anything? It has to do with him being bored. That's the thing about midlife crises. You wake up in the morning one day and you're like, oh, wow, I've gotten to the middle of my life. And yeah, this just doesn't feel like how I thought it was gonna feel. And then you're kind of out there trying to figure out how to make the world feel better, right? He's just going out there doing all this stuff. So anyways, this is the latest idiocy in the AI world. As I've said many times before, I have no idea why Mark Zuckerberg thinks Meta should be a front runner in the artificial intelligence space. Literally doesn't make sense. Don't get me wrong. Should they have full institutional capabilities in artificial intelligence? Absolutely. Should they be developing things that the rest of the artificial intelligence community can build upon? Absolutely. But why should they be a front runner? Who the hell knows? Like one of the latest things that they're talking about doing is they're going to start renting out their infrastructure. Because, when you think Meta and you think about brand synergy, the concept of, hey, AI AWS, that's, what you think of when you think about Meta. But anyways, so this is what we got. They're jumping into the coding space because, I mean, like, seriously, when you think about, like, what is Meta bringing to the table, right? So you have Anthropic and Claude Code. They became the front runner. They kind of became the first mover in that particular world. And then you have OpenAI out there. Let's say OpenAI is a very large AI company. People are already using their platforms for many things. So it makes sense that they would come out with a product called Codex to basically try to not lose their customers, right? Hey, you're already buying our AI services, also use Codex, right? You look at Microsoft. Microsoft owns GitHub. Microsoft is Microsoft. So they come out with their own AI coding things. Again, it makes sense. But then you look at Meta. You look at Meta. Why? What? Why are they getting in the world of AI coding? 3 months after unveiling its first artificial intelligence model under the leadership of AI chief Alexander Wang, Meta is rolling out a major update as it attempts to compete with OpenAI, Anthropic, and everybody else in critical areas of the market. Muse Spark 1.1, which Meta introduced on Thursday, represents, quote, its strongest model for agentic and coding work yet, Wang said. Meta is making the new model's API available through a developer portal as part of a public preview where users will be able to sign up and see instructions for integrations. A Meta spokesperson said some early partners can already access the API, and new users, quote, will be able to add themselves to a waitlist and be added from there over time. For now, Meta said it's limiting API access to its own properties rather than making it available on third-party platforms like the popular Open Router marketplace. I wonder why they're not going to put it on Open Router. Can you think of any reason why Meta is not going to put their new coding LLM model onto Open Router? Would it possibly be because Open Router actually has public and transparent information on how much different models are used, and nobody is clamoring for a Meta coding model? Who in the technology world was like, I wasn't gonna start doing AI coding. I wasn't gonna start vibe coding until Meta got seriously into the game. So I think that's basically what's going on with that. It's going to be served on top of the computing infrastructure that we've built, Wang said, which makes sense because they literally have so much computing infrastructure, they have overbuilt to such a degree they're literally going to be renting it out. Wang characterized pricing of the Muse Spark update as, quote, very aggressive and attractive compared with similar offerings from labs like Anthropic and OpenAI. He said every new API account will start with $20 in free credits. From there, the company will charge 1.25 per million tokens in input and 4.25 per million tokens of output. I think it's also interesting here, talking about things like pricing and being very aggressive. And this is one of my arguments against the trillion-dollar valuations for these AI companies, is because essentially this is a race to the bottom as far as prices are concerned. The idea, if OpenAI was actually worth $1 trillion, if Anthropic was actually worth $1 trillion, the concept would be is that their technology would become so valuable that people would be throwing money at it, right? Like they had been for a couple of months until the CFO looked at the credit card statement and went, what the fuck? Right? And what a curious thing that we're seeing right now is basically everybody is pulling back on AI spend. Uber, Microsoft, Meta itself, Tesla, right? Even the big technology companies are not seeing a return on investment for the amount of money that they're spending for these tokens. And so it's interesting that Meta is now getting into games, and one of their arguments is pricing. Right? Especially with Meta not actually being an AI company, being a communications and advertising company. One of the curious things here is they don't necessarily really have to worry about their profit margins for where they price these tokens at. So they can start undercutting Anthropic and they can start undercutting OpenAI. Whether or not they lose customers, that's not really the problem for Anthropic or OpenAI. The problem is when the CFOs start doing the negotiations, or when negotiations start being done with OpenAI and Anthropic, basically what's going to come up is you're going to start having executives say, well, look, Meta is willing to provide us an equivalent service at lower price. And it's American, right? We're not going off to DeepSeek or whatever else. This is an American company. And the problem is in negotiations, that's going to push the value or the amount that OpenAI and Anthropic can try to charge their larger customers down. One of the things you have to be thinking about with negotiations is expectations, right? When everybody walks in the room with the expectation that the price of something is going to be high, the fact of the matter is you're going to default to the price being whatever the negotiated price is going to be, it's going to be higher. If you have the other side walk into the room with the expectation that the price should be low, the fact of the matter is it's simply going to default to being lower. And that's kind of how it works. So I think one of the interesting things taking a look at this isn't really Meta's success or failure in the AI world. I am curious how it's going to skew the business results for the other large-scale AI players. Quote, the goal is to really have attractive pricing that scales with immense consumption usage, Wang said. He said Muse Spark 1.1 outperformed rival models in certain tasks involving the ability to interact with various third-party coding products and services. I also think this is going to be an interesting thing to be taking a look at in the future with artificial intelligence, is basically how well these different models or how well the overall product works with different things, works with different integrations, that type of deal. I do believe that is going to become the real differentiator going forward versus the frontier models, right? If you make the frontier model 20% better, is anybody actually going to notice? On the other hand, if there's simply more integrations for your model, for your products with other products, the fact of the matter is it makes it a lot simpler. It's like, oh, we use this particular stack. This company offers an integration for this particular stack. We're going to buy from this particular company. I think that could be an interesting thing going forward. So yeah, that's what's the latest thing going on with Meta. I think I have another couple of things to talk about with Meta, because Meta's just, I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing about midlife crisis is, it's sad to watch, but it is really interesting to talk about. It gives you a lot of gossip to talk about. So, what do you think about this with Meta getting into the AI coding space? Were you desperately waiting for this? Was anybody waiting for this? Was anybody waiting for this? Put your thoughts down in the comment section. If you like these episodes, remember they're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Link is down below. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, there's a link down there too. With that, see y'all later.